Recently, I did something that I love to do, and that is I took my daughters up to our cabin in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Jackson is one of my favorite places on the planet, and when we got up there, we spent some time going around to the shops, enjoyed ourselves, and then decided, what are we going to do this evening? So we got a puzzle. Now, I haven't done a puzzle in years, and I think I may have bitten off more than I could chew, because I picked this picture, this big old wolf here, and it was 2,000 pieces. Now, a 2,000 piece puzzle is about that big by that big, almost the size of a normal kitchen table. And after we finished running around, we went home and we put this puzzle and all the pieces laid out on the table, and we started sorting them. You know how you do it. You sort them. The sky ones go here, and maybe this area will go over here in a pile, and you kind of put them in like pieces. And then you start putting them together. You get the borders and trying to figure out where the other pieces are going. And something happened. Well, about 4 hours into it, I had the border only, and maybe a few spare pieces in other places. I wasn't getting this thing done. I had so much information, and the only way to do it was by sitting there and putting pieces together in a little manual way. I just couldn't get it done. So, needless to say, my daughters quit after about 2, 3, 4 hours. I got up the next day and I worked on it a little bit, and went another couple hours. Got some more of it. Pretty cool picture though, don't you think? But I never got to see it. I never got to see the entire picture. Why am I telling you about puzzles? Because a puzzle has a million pieces that individually mean very little. Today I'm going to show you something about Excel. Now, Excel is one of my favorite programs. I love to work with it. And I'm going to show you one of the coolest features in Excel. But here's a standard data worksheet. Now you can see about 25 line items here. Each one of those is like a piece of the puzzle. It means something, it has information on it, but it doesn't tell you about the whole picture. You don't know what it is, right? This shows 25 line items there. There's actually about 2,000 on this worksheet, similar to my puzzle, right? 2,000 pieces. I gotta make this make something. So what you do, you could sit there and sort them out individually like I was doing with the puzzle, right? Put these ones over here, these ones over here, and try and aggregate them and make something. But there's a better way, and that's where my favorite part of Excel comes in. First, what you need to do though is you need to create a table. You can see up here, that table button. I click on that table button, and it does a table. Now, a table just simply is taking all the information and combining it as one unit. And after we're done with that, we're going to do the pivot table. See the left corner up there? You click on that button, and then it gives you this, select the range. Well, we just did a table, so it says table 1 right there, as you can see. And there's our pivot table. Ooh, doesn't mean anything, does it? Nothing there. But we're almost done, and let me show you how it is. See these lines over here, these boxes over here? They're different things that we can check based on the headings from our data. So let's check a few of them and see what it does. I checked sales rep, I checked quarter, and I checked the amount. This happens to be a data sheet on sales. So what do? Just by clicking those boxes, I took 2,000 pieces of the puzzle, I aggregated them into one, and now I can see over here the name of each salesperson, how much they sold in quarter 1, how much they sold in quarter 2, and the grand total amount. And over here, simply a chart that says the same thing as that. How cool is that? Instead of taking all these pieces and putting them in piles and using formulas and trying to drag something over here to make it make sense, we click a few boxes and it tells us everything that we need to know. Now there are a bunch of other things. I could say, well, what's happening in this geography? Click the box, geography. What's happened during this time period? Click the date, and it would tell us. That's a pivot table. Coolest thing ever, right? Now, what happens if you get here and you're looking at this and you go, well, what is Eric doing? Well, maybe Eric We want to know what, he's got $201,000 in sales right there. What if we wanted to know exactly what he did there? We'd simply double click on that cell and it tells us every invoice that he did during that time period that made up that $201,000. So you can now drill back and look at the different things, manipulate it further, and bring it back in. Pretty cool? That's a pivot table you've just learned how to do, and it's that simple. Now there are a million other things we can do with it, but just knowing how to do that much gives you some tremendous tools in Excel. Now, remember that wolf? Remember me spending hours and hours working on that wolf? What happens, what would have happened had I had something I could take all those puzzle pieces, throwing it to a machine, and it would spit out all the stuff where it's supposed to go and do the puzzle almost instantaneously. That would be a pivot table for a puzzle. So now you see that great picture that I never was able to see when I was putting together a puzzle. In Excel, you can build it and make it and see it almost instantaneously. Good luck with your pivot table.